welcome back to another video on my hardcore series. Last episode, I discovered that my base was on top of an ancient city deep dark biome, and I made this comment. At the very bottom of it, there was a deep dark biome. So that probably means there's an ancient city nearby, but that is not a task for episode 1. Well, it is no longer episode 1, and so I see nothing wrong with trying to loot it. Today's goal is not to kill the warden, because I don't think I could do that even if I tried. Today, we are trying to tame the ancient city. Today, I am trying to build enough farms and the right farms in order to make it safe to explore and get the good loot in the ancient city. Will I be able to do this? Stick around to the end of the video to find out. You are watching. Why am I doing this, you might ask? Well, I don't know. It just sounded like a good idea. But I have a 5-step plan for how we can do this without a single hitch. And it's all over here. I use this wall as a surface for it. So the very first step is to make a wheat farm. I have some areas out back that I think would be good for this. And so I'll create a wheat farm. After that, make a carrot farm. This will be used so I can make golden carrots as a food source and a potion source of night vision for this warden experience. Thirdly, I'll make a wool farm. I don't want to try exploring the deep dark without any sort of wool, so I'll get some sheep, make a wool farm, and make a building for it. Then, this is supposed to be a blaze rod, but I don't have that right now because I haven't been to the nether, so bamboo is the closest thing I got. Go to the nether fortress, get some blaze rods, and not die. And the last one is to make some potions of night vision. I don't have glass bottles yet, so it's a bucket. But these are the 5 steps for how we are going to be able to conquer this ancient city. So, let's get on with step 1. I think back here is where I'm gonna plan to have the fields come in, just over this ridge. I've already started some of the landscaping, but I'm thinking about doing a few different levels of plateaus. So over here, have this be wheat, all the way down, maybe like 3 or 4 layers. And on the other side, the same thing, but with carrots. So a few layers of carrots, and then maybe a path running down the middle, so that way we can get out. I'll definitely need a lot more snow, and probably a lot more dirt. But I think first things first is to get the terraforming in, so let's go. Alright, so I just finished up making the wheat farm. I didn't. Okay. And it's just on this side of the house, it's over here. And what I've done is kind of a 3-layered tier system of kind of plateauing the area. But yeah, and I have this little path that runs down here, and I think it looks really good. It looks like a nice addition just to the base in general. And I also need to grab those before they despawn. Probably to make. But yeah, I think eventually on this side, in place of this cave, I'm going to make the carrot fields. But before that, I want to gather up as much wool as possible before we go to the ancient city. So I think it's time to do a wool farm. So earlier I had trees here, but I think instead I'm going to turn this little area into a little sheep farm building. I want to get one of every kind of color of sheep and just have an automatic system. But to do that, I need a ton of iron and a ton of bows, which I do not think I have. Luckily, last episode I found a spider spawner, so I can go grind at that for a bit and then potentially get some iron as well. So let's get to it. So now I have acquired most of the components I need for this farm. The next thing that I want to grab is one of each of the different colored types of wool or dye that there are. So that way I can dye the sheep's different colors and get the different wool variants. Yeah, I know that's not really needed for the ancient city, but in the hopes that I survive it, I want to be able to have one of each different type for buildings and stuff like that later on. Oh. Blue, light gray, red, purple, pink, magenta, yellow, orange, white, light blue, brown, black, gray, green, lime, and cyan. Fast forward a little bit, and I have most of the bare bones of the sheep farm down. I have all the hopper minecarts in place and all the hoppers in place and the pens all set up. And I got a silk touch pickaxe and was able to get some grass over here. So as I was building this, I realized that the next thing I need is actually going to be quartz to observe whenever the grass changes. And so now it is time for the very scary task of going to the nether. But in order to delay that a little bit longer, I want to build a really cool nether portal for this world. And not just a standard portal frame, but I want to turn this area here into a cave for my portal to go. And transition. So here we have the ice cave that is going to be the home for our nether portal. I've spent quite a while working on it, and I really like it so far. It's like just like a normal ice cave, but I tried to make it seem like there were beams and logs as if people were mining it out, and a bunch of lanterns just to kind of help support the cave up. And at the very bottom of it, there's this huge ice spike coming out of the ground, which I know is kind of bare now. I might do something later, but maybe not, because I like the way it looks right now. And inside of it is our nether portal. And so there we go, lit it up. And now the next thing to do is to actually go in it. I can't really delay that anymore, but I'm a little bit nervous for this because I don't want to lose this world. But it's okay, nothing too ambitious this time, and got a good plan and good protection, and here we go. Okay. Looks like we came out in a crimson biome, and there's a bastion right there. So that is just lovely. And everything's loading in. Want to see if there's another fortress or anything around us. Okay, there's a steep cliff. Nice. Okay, I don't really see anything nearby. Yeah. So I think the plan is just to try and find some piglins and trade for some quartz and fire resistance potions. I eventually found some piglins and began trading with them. And then I dug a hole for them to stay inside so that way I could collect all of their loot. And after about 5 minutes of trading all the gold I had, this is what I ended up with. A couple fire resistance potions, a lot of nether supplies, and then a ton of quartz. And so I set back to the overworld so that way I could finally finish the infrastructure for my sheep farm. It was finally done, aside from having actual sheep in there. And so that's what I was handling next. I didn't have a pen made for them, and so I brought them inside the main hall of my house, where I would breed them up and then one by one take them to their spots. I could have sworn I should have had more of you by now. I thought I had like 9 in here, but maybe a few of them escaped. Huh. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's where they went. Alright, just one more breeding session and then I think y'all are good to go. Oh. Eventually, I did get all the sheep in the right pens. With everything working, the last thing to do was to dye them. As you can see behind me, we now have a fully operational wool farm with a bunch of sheep of one of each color in each slot. And yeah, so yeah, the sheep eats the grass, the observer detects it, and then the wool goes into these chests underneath. And so anytime we're in this area, this thing is just going to be collecting lots of wool. And so while we wait to gather enough to go ancient city looting, I think I want to build a building around this to make it look a little nicer. So let's get to it. We have finally built the inside, well, not the inside, the outside of the sheep farm. And yeah, the inside is kind of a big open air, and I kind of like that, so I think I'm going to keep it. I might change it later on, but yeah, as you can see, we've been collecting wool, and we have around a stack for each kind of color. So that's going to be really helpful for going to the deep dark. But yeah, there's a lot. We have a lot of white wool, but we also started with more. But as you can see, there it goes. And yeah. So this one I think might not have gotten loaded in all the time because there's a little bit less, but I don't know. So also, as you saw in the time lapse, I changed the stairs to going forward, so that way it was a bit less out of the way. I still don't 100% like it, and I might change it, but yeah. In this side, there's a door, but it's just trapdoor, so it doesn't really work. But yeah, you can kind of see it, and it looks really cool. Also, in the middle of that, I came over here and did a little bit more work, and we now have 3 plateaus for a carrot farm. They're not fully filled in yet because I don't have enough carrots for it, but just similar to the wheat, there's 3 different levels. They just kind of make their way down here, and yeah, gonna fill them in later, but I think it looks really cool. A lot of spruce wood, and yeah, so we got that pretty good. Looking at our list, the next thing we have to do, or yeah, we did the wheat, the carrot, and the wool. Now we need to get blaze rods. So that means we have the scary task of going and exploring the nether. After about 2.5 hours of exploring the nether, I eventually found a fortress, and I was here to grab blaze rods and nether wart. After a lot of work and a few close calls, I began a long process of making my way back. Once I got back home, I ran to put the nether stuff away, and then I began crafting bottles and golden carrots in order to craft the night vision potions. I was really excited that this was almost done, and that the next step was to loot the ancient city Deep Dark. I crafted the golden carrot, put it in the brewing stand, and then realized I forgot to grab the nether wart from the fortress. Future Aaron here. This is in fact the worst mistake that I have made during this world, because as soon as I got back to the fortress, I was swarmed by a bunch of wither skeletons, and you can probably see where this will lead. I had my thumb on the shift key, and it accidentally slipped, and I fell into the batch of wither skeletons, which promptly knocked me off the side of the fortress. Was this it? Had all my hard work for the past 3 weeks amounted to me dying in another fortress? Sadly, I must say, it did. I did not survive my second trip there, and I did not complete the mission I set out for myself. I was really upset. Yep, that was it. So, I know I lost the world, and that is very sad, and I had a lot planned for what to do with this one. And that's okay. I know sometimes things just don't work out. And yeah, even though I'm upset, I think you can always look on the bright side and see that I learned a lot from doing this. I feel like my builds got better than they've ever been, and I've been able to, I think my videos turned out better than my past few have. And I know it was a lot shorter than expected, but I think there's a lot to be learned from it, and I'm glad that I did it. I think it was a good challenge because I'd never done hardcore before. And yeah, so I think even though it's disappointing, I think it's okay. And yeah, I'm gonna move on. I have another series idea that I think I want to try out that could be really good, but I'm gonna think about it and work on it. But I think, yeah, that'll do it for today because there's nothing else to do. Sorry I didn't actually get to end up looting the Deep Dark. That was upsetting, but it's okay. And I'll try to do it in a later video, maybe on my next series. Oh my goodness, you came out of nowhere. So, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Keep an eye out for the next video I'll make. Hopefully the next one doesn't end as sad as this one did. Oh, I'm getting bullied. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching these videos. Thank you so much for watching these videos. If you liked it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I got more stuff coming in the future. And yeah, thank you so much for making it this far, and take it easy, guys.